Good morning and welcome to our webinar this morning on saving time by using Sage 50 fully. I'd like to take the opportunity to thank you all for taking the time out this morning. I know all our time is busy, but hopefully taking this half an hour out will be able to save time later in this week and going forward. It's myself, Stephanie Davis, and Eddie McLaughlin, who's with me this morning, another Sage expert that will be going through some of the features. So just for anybody on the webinar there, I'm just going to do a quick Pimbrook overview, just for anybody who don't know us at the moment. I'll run through just a couple of client testimonials. We're going to look at this key account functionality. We will have time for a Q&A later, hopefully, and we'll do that via the chat button. So you're all muted at the moment, just so we can quickly get through these details. And what we'll do is we'll leave you our contact details at the end. So we will be following up later with calls and emails and different pieces of information around this. Okay, so Pimbrook. Well, we've been privileged to be the Sage 50 Business Partner of the Year for the last 4 years. I can't say it's been easy. We strive every day to give excellent customer service. We specialise in the Sage 50 and payroll. We've well over 1,300 customers now. And I suppose our common commitment to everybody is exceptional customer service. So we're very privileged to have some of these brands associated with Pimbrook, and particularly when they've used terminology such as professional, efficient, committed, helpful, product knowledge. This is something that we pride ourselves in and strive, as I said, every day to maintain and improve. So we're going to break out here into the demonstration now and just quickly get on with the most important piece of the information, and that is the software. So a couple of areas that I've been talking here with Eddie, just who works in Sage, trying to find out where those areas that we're not using fully. And one of the ones that we came to the conclusion of was the Pay Now. And are people aware of that Pay Now button? In other words, when you do your invoice and you process that through, which hopefully most of you are familiar with, but we can take that offline, when you press the print invoice button, and if we look at a preview here of one there, you'll see the Pay Now. And once we click on that, we can go through to the PayPal or the Stripe. And if you've got existing accounts, you're literally allowing the customer to pay the invoice immediately, which is what we're all looking for, is instant cash flow. Another area that we looked at together was around Go Cardless. Now, one thing about direct debits, which is what Go Cardless is the onboarding experience for the customer. And that usually is quite tedious. Well, I certainly know from myself that if somebody sends me forms to fill in, yes, I have to go print it, write it up, figure out the bank accounts, go email it, scan it back to them, etc. Where when you look at Go Cardless, if you're literally click in, there's a wizard in here. I'm just going to give you a quick overview. When you go into the wizard on the Go Cardless, it's literally saying, let's get started. And all you're going to do is click through about 4 next buttons, and an email will be prompted out to the customer to fill in a link. So no big forms or anything like that, and it literally is minutes. There's been a huge uptake on this, and people have found, again, the cash flow has been improved immensely by these 2 features alone. So something that we can help you set up offline if you wish to look at it again, please, we'll contact you. Right, and I'm going to introduce Eddie here now. He's going to look at some of the smaller features that come through on these versions that you may be unaware of, but will be helpful to your day-to-day.
Thank you very much, Stephanie. As you said, my name is Eddie. I'm the product specialist here in Sage, and one of my specialty subjects would be Sage 50 Cloud. So the first thing I'm going to talk to you about is how to post your bank charges at the same time as posting your customer receipts and your supplier payments. This is a feature made available in version 24.2 and above. So I'm just going to run through on the system how to do this. So it works the same whether you do customer receipts or supplier payments. So I'm just going to choose customer receipt here. So you would fill out the screen as normal. So you'd obviously pick up your customer. And you can see over here on the right-hand side, you've got an option now for bank charge. So along with filling out your normal usual amount in your receipt column, so in this case, I'm just going to put pay in full. You can also put a bank charge in here as well. I'm just going to put €2 in there. And what the system will then do is post 2 transactions at the same time when I click save. So as you can imagine, that's going to save you a lot of time. So I've now just posted a customer receipt and I've posted a bank charge at the same time. Where in the past we would have had to close out of that and go through the bank charges wizard. So big improvement there. So the next improvement is in around the customers module. So we've added a feature in, and it's in conjunction with the Sage 50 Cloud in the Office 365. We've added a feature in here that you're able to open up Google Maps from a customer record. And this is especially useful if you have agents that are out on the field all the time. So you might have field sales agents, or you might be going to regular meeting with your clients and stuff like that. What you will be able to do, and I'll just demonstrate here on a customer I've aptly named Google Maps here. What you would need to do is fill in their address, and the most important part of this will be the postcode, or in our case, the air code. Once the system has this information, all you would need to do is click on Google Maps along the top here. It will open up what we all know as Google Maps. You click on directions, and then you can send them directions to your phone and allow your field agents quick and easy access to the customer's address. So then if we just jump back into Sage 50 then, we'll move on to the next feature. And this is entering your bank transactions faster. And this was made available in version 24 and above. So now on your customer receipts and your supplier payments, we can also enter these at the same time as entering our invoices. This will cut down the processing time if this is something you're going to use. So what we'll do, I'll just show you here on our supplier invoice. It works the same on customer invoices. So we come into batch invoice, and we'll fill out this screen as normal. Most of you will be familiar with how to fill out a supplier invoice. What we can do on this screen now, you'll see a new column added in for amount paid and the pay date. So if there's a case where you have an invoice that's already been paid, you can now post the supplier payment at the same time as the invoice. And much like with the bank charge, Sage will now post the two transaction and make that allocation for you straight away. So all you'd have to do is fill in your amounts and click save. So the same thing applies to the customer batch invoice. Now, most of you, of course, when it comes to customers, will use the invoices and credits module because you would like to email and invoice your email and print your invoices. Apologies. And we can do the same thing here on our customer invoice. So if we just get one up I've done before, in order to mark a payment at the same time on this customer invoice, we click on the payment tab. We choose the option the payment already received, and then just fill in the details up here in the payment details. And again, the system will post two transactions at the same time, saving you quite a lot of time there. And the last thing I'm going to talk about today is around the bank reconciliation. So I picked out 3 new features here that's hopefully going to make your life easier. So the first thing we've added in the bank reconciliation, if I just open up this screen here for you. First thing we've added along the top here is the addition of these buttons where we can post transactions directly from within the bank reconciliation screen. So this can be very handy if you need to make an adjustment, for example, to your bank rec. So if your difference is not 0, and you might need to make an adjustment, you can do it from within this screen here now using one of these buttons. Another thing it's handy for, if you have omitted a transaction and it's not appearing on your list to be reconciled, in the past you would have had to save your progress, close out this screen, post your transaction, then come back into this screen and redo the reconciliation. Whereas now we can do everything from within here. So for example, I can pick up a bank receipt, fill out the details. I just fill out a bank receipt quick. And what you can do then, it'll bring it into your reconciliation screen as matched straight away. That just saves you a lot of time there. Then the next improvement is a feature brought out in the very latest version in 25.1. And this is around the last reconciliation balance changing. So this is a big bugbear for our customers. So in the past, if your last reconciled balance had changed from when you were previously reconciled, what you would have to do is maybe run some reports and really go hunting for the transaction that may be causing the problem. And this, as I said, was a real bugbear. So what we've done in version 25.1 is we've basically made the system, or have the system do those checks for you. So now if the system recognizes that your last reconciled balance has changed, it will look for any transactions that have caused the problem, and it will then show you that transaction, and then it will prompt you to fix the issue. So I'm just going to show you how that works. So I've already set up my system where my last reconciled balance has changed. So now when I click on reconcile, I fill in my details as normal. When I click OK, you can see I can get a message here saying my closing balance on such and such a date was this, and now my opening balance is that. So you can see there's a difference of £500. And it asks me, do I want to have a look at this transaction? So I say yes to that. And it tells me that transaction number 4, which is a bank receipt, I happen to have deleted it in this case, and this is what's causing your problem. So you've got 2 options here. So we can go in, if you want to, we can put back on this bank receipt by clicking on bank receipt and filling out the information, and that will fix the balance. or we can continue on to the bank reconciliation without fixing the problem. And the system will allow you to do that twice until it stops reminding you that this is a problem. So it's up to you what you do there. So it's a very great feature that people have been asking for. So we've added that into version 25.1. And then the last improvement we've made, another feature we've been asked for, is to reverse a bank reconciliation. So this came in with the release of version 25 recently. And in the past, to reverse a bank reconciliation, you would have had to basically edit every single transaction on that reconciliation and untick the box for the bank reconciliation. Whereas now we can reverse the reconciliation from within the reconciliation screen. So once we reconcile this, we can go into the bank screen here, and we can go into reconciliations. We've got a list of all our reconciliations. There's an option here to reverse, and it's a very easy process. Some of you who've done a foreign bank revaluation reversal will be familiar because this is the same process. So just highlight it. We click on reverse. It says, we recommend you take a backup. Would you like to do so? Obviously, I'm going to recommend everyone to say yes to that message. I'll say no for now, just to save time. And it says, we're going to remove the bank reconciliation flag off all your transactions. You say yes to that. And as you can see, the reconciliation is removed from the list, and you can go ahead and redo that reconciliation. Just make sure then you click save on your record. That's all there is for me. So I'm going to pass you back to Stephanie then, and we're going to go through some features around the Office 365.
That's great. That's great, Eddie, there. Thanks a million. I think one thing that I just picked up there, Eddie, was the fact that you're getting these requests in for customers, and they're probably very discrete changes in the upgrade that's there and may be missed. So it's probably something, guys, that we've picked up here that, you know, you may not notice them coming in. You get your upgrade done, and just beware that some of these small ones, that they're not the ones with all the shiny bells on them, can actually help the day-to-day. So thanks for showing those. I certainly think that's going to be a great help to some people. I suppose what I wanted to look at, and after chatting here with the Sage guys and trying to have a look to see how we can improve, again, the day-to-day aspects of it. And we've noticed there from talking to our IT partners that a lot of people are moving to Microsoft 365. Now, obviously, Sage were ahead of the posse and knew that was coming down the line, and decided obviously to tighten that partnership up with Microsoft to be able to offer the connection from Sage 50 to actually the Microsoft 365. Now, what I'm going to do is, I have to say I'm no expert on this area, but what I'd like to do is, in some of the things that caught my eye, and we can have a look at some more offline if anybody wishes to, is an area there around the Outlook. So if we can just have a quick log into our Outlook, you'll see there we've got, as you'd expect the Outlook to look on everybody's PC as it stands at the moment who use it. We've got a list of communications here, emails from people, and these people are already associated on our Sage 50. So we've put their email address into the contact area that you'll be familiar with. And what we do now is, if I get an email in from a person who's already on a Sage contact, you'll see we've got a little green icon now popping up, and that's a Sage contact. So what that has done for us is allow us to have a view into Sage 50 without me even having to exit out of my Outlook. And why would we probably want to do that? Well, one of the reasons is, if somebody's looking for, let's say, an urgent order, I want to have a quick look at the Sage contact, maybe some communications or some history around this account, and be able to have a quick look through and go, yes, I'm able to process that order there. And you can see, I'll be able to see the emails that have already come through. So again, it's the one-stop shop to be able to improve the speed of return of information back to our client, and again, save me time. So another area that is in the 365 up on the area there is dashboards, is that we've come to. So dashboards, again, are information. We all come from a time when we'd all want the big ream of paper coming out to us, and it'd be quite impressive, but actually, in fact, how many of us read it? As soon as we all got into Excel, we started exporting information out to Excel. As great as Excel is, and it certainly will be stable in our day-to-day workings, what we actually want is a tool to read the database directly, which ensures that we don't have any risk of the data being transposed in any shape or form. Secondly, obviously it being able to be refreshed as quick as possible. So they're just pieces of information. So I've taken 2 samples out of information here, just two graphs there to show you as areas that are available. So we were looking at receivables there. We've got revenue and expenses, so we can look through a few of those at your leisure. So what we want to do is just encourage everybody to use what's there. So we've had a quick fly through on the Sage 50. So they're areas that we feel are of benefit. We don't want to take too much of your time up. We are delighted to be able to take any of these offline. Gavin or myself will be following up there on that, and we'll have the information. But one thing we also want to draw your attention to is the roadmap. So there's a roadmap out there on Sage 50 that will tell you what's coming down the line. Now, we often send that out to you ourselves. But importantly, again, as I mentioned earlier about the wish list, if you let us know what you're looking for, that is how the development company, correct me if I'm wrong, Eddie, that's how the development company works over there, isn't it?
Yeah, so all these ideas that I've just demonstrated, every single one of them came from the roadmap from our customers. They're the most requested features on the roadmap. So the roadmap is great. As a customer, you can make your own requests, which will go straight to our developer team, and they will obviously pick up the most requested and add it in as quickly as possible. And it will also give you an idea of what's coming. So it has a view of what's coming in the next release, and then the release after, and then the release after that as well. So you can see what is coming, so to get you excited for the new releases as well that may come in the future. Yeah,
and have an impact on what is actually there. Exactly. Now, we've also got a few people who have been looking for things, but again, why the purpose of the webinar here this morning was to show you these things are coming through by your request. So just have a quick look there. I've opened the chat line there if anybody's any questions. As I said, anything in detail, we'll take that. We'll take it offline if need be. But I'll just have a quick look over the chat there now, if you give me a second. Okay, we've got one coming in there around the 365 setting it up. Probably it's on an individual basis, so it's something that we can follow on with you on how to set it up. I have to say I managed to set it up myself, so that just shows you how straightforward it is. It's not that complicated, but what we do need to do is just check your licensing, whether you're going to use the Sage license for 365 or whether you've got another one in-house yourself. One on the Pay Now button. On your current layout. Okay, yeah, certainly we can have a look at your current layout, and we can change that so that you can have the Pay Now, and we can go through the actual setup on that if you've got a bank account, etc. Are any details on making tax digital function on Sage 50 Cloud?
Yeah, so Sage 50 Cloud version 24.2 is fully compatible with Making Tax Digital. So you don't have to do anything special. All you need to do is put in your contact details into settings and company preferences under the VAT tab. So you put your login information for the HMRC's website. And as I said, it's fully compatible. As long as you're on version 24.2 or above, you will be compliant and HMRC will accept your submissions. Okay. So explain again about Go Cardless. Okay, yeah, we whizzed through that there earlier. Go Cardless is a direct debit functionality available in Sage 50 now. And the idea is that if you have regular receipts coming from your clients, then you will be able to set up those. But the most important thing about Go Cardless is the onboarding experience. So once you set up your wizard and your bank account, I have a video on it, by the way, which I can share with you. It literally is an email sent through to the customer to electronically sign, send it up, and you are done. And the next invoice is literally available. I think it's about 3 to 5 days later for collection. Okay. I have another one there. Sorry, another one came in on the onboarding there on that. So sorry, there was one actually just asking there, the bank reconciliation, is that available in the latest version? Yeah, so I've done 3 features around the bank reconciliation. If you're on version 24 or above, you will get them. But the only one that's 25.1 exclusive would have been the last one, where it will check your last reconciliation balance has changed. So that only came out in the most recent version, version 25.1. The other two are available in versions 24 and 25.
Okay, excellent. That's great. Thank you. Okay, I think, right, that seems to be most of the questions dealt with there. As we said there, what we're going to do, we only want to give you a small snippet. We will be offering anybody who's been on the webinar and looking to either upgrade to be able to access these features, we have offers on there for you. So we'll make sure that when we phone you there, that we'll be in touch. Just a question there, sorry, question came in another form, they're not in the chat. If you're already using third-party software for DDs, will existing mandates suffice, or do you still go through the onboarding? I believe, Michael, there that it will be a new onboarding mandate, but what I can do is I can take that offline just to ensure that that is correct information. Okay. As I said, look, it's only a 20-minute session to be able to give you snippets of information on what is available. We are absolutely happy to take any individual cases there to have a chat through and follow up. So we're leaving the email addresses up there for a couple of minutes. Either myself or Gavin, you can certainly contact us there or give us a shout in the office, but we will be following up. Thank you very much for your time and attendance.
Thank you.